this broke recently from Charlotte Gill. So Charlotte Gill, or Charlotte Gill, I'm not sure how to pronounce her surname, which one it is, has been doing a lot of good work on the Doge UK front. She runs Doge UK, and talking a lot about the the wasteful spending of the government, all of this stuff, right? But she's also been talking a lot about recently the schools of sanctuary and cities of sanctuary stuff, and something that is really, really disconcerting, especially if you have a kid in public school, right? Which, if you live in an area like mine, you very much so do, because homeschooling not exactly very, very popular nowadays. That kind of family structure, not very popular nowadays, is weird. Seems that people want to have kids, but they don't want to have a traditional family, which is weird, a structured and traditional family. But point being is that odds are, if you live in an area like mine, very low socioeconomic status and stuff like that, odds are you rely on a public school system. And what we're seeing at the moment with the weaponization, and this will be, if it isn't being done already, will be done in Wales in line with the Nation of Sanctuary and Schools of Sanctuary programs that they want to bring in. You should be very concerned that your children are being tasked with making Valentine's Day cards for asylums, quote-unquote asylum seekers, right? I'm not joking, ladies and gentlemen. The people that we're seeing at the moment coming across on the boats committing disproportionately more crime. There's a prevalent meme going around at the moment where it's like I can't remember the name of the Simpsons character, Lenny, the Simpsons character. He's taking something down off a scoreboard, and it says days without, and somebody's edited at the bottom, channel migrant rape, and it's 0 and 0, right? As in, we literally every single day you have some kind of quote unquote asylum seeker or illegal migrant, whatever it may be, doing something horrible towards either a woman or a child, right? This is awful. But then your schools have now been politicized to bring in more of these people. Politicized initiatives, which, by the way, if a school is going to go out and do any of this, to my understanding, it needs to be non-partisan, right? It needs to be non-partisan. None of the stuff that's happening with the schools at the moment is non-partisan, right? Whether it comes to the climate change stuff, whether it comes to now nation and cities of sanctuary and schools of sanctuary, whereby your school teachers, in many instances, openly, happily espousing this kind of ideology because it makes them feel all warm and fuzzy inside because of how much they've been duped by this stuff, duped by the propaganda themselves, and now tasking children with putting themselves in danger of feeling, not understanding the wider implications of it, that doing things that are putting them in danger from these people is a good and virtuous thing to do in their school lessons. And this stuff has no business being A, anywhere near children, and B, certainly nowhere near school system. A, let kids be kids. B, just educate them on maths, English, history, etc. Is that so much to ask for?
Why have children been making Valentine's cards for refugees? That's what I've recently stumbled upon from a charity called City of Sanctuary UK. This charity wants the UK essentially to become a place, a nation of sanctuary. And sanctuary has become the new trendy term when talking about asylum seekers, illegal migrants. They're now referred to as sanctuary seekers by a lot of Labour councils. Many of them are becoming boroughs of sanctuary. And there are also universities of sanctuary and groups of sanctuary and nurseries and schools of sanctuary. In fact, according to City of Sanctuary UK's website, there are over 1,200 schools and nurseries taking part in the Schools of Sanctuary scheme. And one of the ways they were encouraged to show their solidarity with sanctuary seekers is through creating hearts decorated and also Valentine's cards.
All right, we'll go through a little bit more of that in a moment, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to go through, for those of you who might be listening, not watching, we're going to go through some of the stuff as well. If you're watching this, they'll be popping back up on screen for the moment. I want you to notice something, right, that who do you see? Charlotte's been one of the exceptions in this instance, seems to be more so towards the conservative end of politics, right? But what do you see, at least from there, the main drivers of these kinds of initiatives, right? If I bring up this image, for example, right? if I maybe bring up this image, right? A lot of these initiatives dominated by women because their empathy drive has been driven to suicidal levels. Their empathy drive to want to appear virtuous and all of these things have been driven to suicidal levels to the point now where they're putting these children in danger. They're putting children in danger for the sake of third world adults in most cases who want to come over and will want to do them harm. Make no mistake about it, because they're coming from societies where this is permissible. They're coming from societies where this is permissible. So here's some examples. If you missed them, ladies and gentlemen, they'll be coming up on screen as well. This was one example of the Valentine's Day cards that we saw. So this is just a drawing from a child where it says Happy Valentine's Day on it. It's just got several love hearts on it. There's another one here, which is a child holding one. And it says here, as if it would be something straight out of like the UN or the World Economic Forum, whatever. It's literally something on there. You can see how deep the indoctrination is set in with these children who have no defenses against it. And this is why it's also important for you as the parent to be clued in on this stuff, because you are the first line of defense. I love refugee rights. Okay? I love refugee rights. Again, something straight out of the document of like UNESCO. Straight out of like a UNESCO document, that is, or straight out of a not even WHO, but like a World Economic Forum here. This one here, this is a love heart held presumably by two girls here. Be kind to refugees. Be kind to refugees. Again, point being, these are not refugees in the way that we've been led to believe that they are, in the way that these children are being led to believe that they are. And it's not the children's fault. They're not supposed to be worrying about this stuff. These are not problems that children should be dealing with and having any say in. Okay? With important issues, you don't let children drive the bus or drive the car or fly the plane. Okay? But this is the thing. This is the leftist thing now, where everybody is the master of their own world, so to speak, or that everybody's truth, if you will, is equally valid or whatever. This is the kind of things that spawn. You have to let children decide what their quote unquote gender is. That if they decide that they're a boy when they're a girl, you got to do everything to follow through on that, because somehow we've allowed us to believe that children have a better reflection, better understanding of the world than adults do. Many instances, they may actually have a better understanding of how the world works compared to some of these adults who actually go along and believe this stuff, right? A lot of the teachers, not exactly the sharpest tools in the box, right? They go along with this stuff because they don't know how to fight back against it either. They don't know what they're engaging in. They think it's a good thing. They can't see it for what it is. So if they can't see it for what it is, how the hell do you expect the kids to see it for what it is? But it's like in many instances where you see, the trans ideology or the gender ideology trying to foist onto kids. And pardon me a moment. You see the gender ideology and trans ideology try to foist onto kids, and the kids saying to the teacher, just the basic fact of human biology, right? You see it all the time. And it's quite funny when it happens that sometimes it does appear that the kids might have a better grasp on reality than the parents do, or not the parents, sorry, the teachers do. So this was explained or encapsulated very well in the What is a Woman documentary with that gender-affirming therapist, quote-unquote, doctor, right, Michelle Forcier, where Matt is saying about, kids, they might believe in Santa Claus, but Santa Claus isn't actually real. And she's like, well, to the kids they are. To the kids, Santa Claus is. It's still Santa Claus that delivers their presents, as if then that makes it real. When obviously everybody knows that, sadly, and this might be a spoiler for you, Santa Claus is not real. But here's some more examples, ladies and gentlemen. Let's be nice to refugees. More for being nice to people. More refugee rights are needed, right? As if they don't have enough already. We can't deport some people because of a fucking McDonald's isn't available in their home country, for example. Bear in mind as well, ladies and gentlemen, again, kids are not expected to know this. They're already coming from a safe country. They're already coming from France. They're coming all the way through Europe. They're coming to Britain specifically because of the benefit system. It says here, I love refugee rights. Stop the Rwanda scheme. Take all refugees equally. But the fact of the matter is they're exploiting a romantic holiday, romantic, key point there, romantic holiday for political exploitation, not just for political exploitation, but using children on a romantic holiday to appeal to quote-unquote refugees. That should make you sick to your stomach. And if you are able to, should please get them out of public school. Or at least, if this message reaches you, at least be ready to fight back against this stuff. And be willing to endure the attacks and the community turning on you and the school persecuting you at every single turn as well, if you're going to keep them there and you're going to instill good values in them. The school system has been designed now to instill your children with terrible values. And again, what do we do? Similar to the police situation, what do we do? How do we deal with this problem? That's going to come, in my opinion, from changes on our own part in the future, whereby we understand that, the family is important. The family is important, and the best vehicle for child development is the family, not the public school system. Maybe then we can change some of our own attitudes, societal attitudes and such as well. Okay? Because that's ultimately going to be the best course. Obviously, that then comes with changing a lot of like the economic policies and stuff like that, and using government to strip away a lot of the powers of government and actually hand them back to the people, which government is obviously not going to be very big on.